morning and welcome to the Premie League review show. Oh my God, when was the last time we said that, Alex?
102 days was it? I think, or 105 days or something stupid.
Long old time ago. So myself, Gav Mack and Alex Osborne. How are you people? And how are you, Alex?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. It was funny, actually, because the other day I was saying that I haven't done a show this early in God knows how long. And then this is 2 morning shows back to back. I mean, like, what's going on there? So what we're going to be doing on this morning's show, we'll be talking about what's happened so far since the Premier League has come back. There's a controversial game in particular, Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. And we'll also be previewing what's going on today's show. We've got so many shows over the next few days. I think we should start with last night's game, actually. Let's start with last night's game. Let's talk about Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. That game finished Spurs won, Manchester United won. Before the game, I had a feeling that was going to be like a 2-2 draw. I saw both teams conceding, but when I saw the Tottenham lineup, I just thought it was going to go absolutely tits up, frankly, for Spurs. What did you think?
Well, it was a bit of an interesting lineup, wasn't it? We've seen a couple of interesting lineups from some managers this week, haven't we? Whether it's because they've tried to select players who have shown the best fitness. I'd imagine that's what it is. Remember when we came back for the Bundesliga, mentioned about how some players are just naturally fitter than others, and they would usually shine out to start off with. Maybe that's what's going on here. But I found the Spurs selection a little bit interesting. Let's say I'm pretty certain our friend Sava probably thought the same as well. I don't know. I've yet to check out what he said to say on that.
Well, I had the joy of watching his show yesterday afternoon, a Spursy podcast, which is, look, if you're a Tottenham fan, you will love it, and if you're a football fan, it's equally as good. So I spent yesterday afternoon watching that, and he had a couple of people on the show, and they were going through a couple of lineups and things like that, but none of them had Dyer starting at centre half, and that was the biggest shock. I saw that and I was thinking, well, it's got to be money on Spurs getting turned over, but Spurs, they were actually quite attacking. They started quite well on the front foot. The first goal came from Steven Bergwijn. When I saw it first time, I thought, wow, what a strike. But then when you see the replay, there's questions to be asked about David De Gea.
Yeah, very much so. What appears to me with David De Gea is he was very much a goalkeeper who relied on reflexes, agility, which made him appear to make incredible reflex saves, and it was always quite flashy, right? But when you look at it as a goalkeeper, as a whole goalkeeper, doesn't really command his area well. His distribution isn't the best, right? And he's prone to making the error, an error which will lead to goals. And
yeah, he's actually made more errors than any other goalkeeper since the start of last season. That's 10 that have directly resulted as a goal at the end of it.
Yeah. That's it. It's coincided with the fact that his reflexes aren't what they used to be, and with him, I don't know whether he's still trying to demand a large contract. But if I was Manchester United, I would not be giving him any kind of contract that he's wanting, because he's not playing up to that level. They've got what appears to be the next heir apparent playing already in the Premier League for Sheffield United, haven't they? And Dean Henderson.
We'll be coming on to that game shortly as well.
He's a very solid goalkeeper, and he's young, so he can only improve from here. But he should be saving that. He should be saving that all day long. I don't know what kind of technique he's got. I mean, his arms are right close into his body. He's got a fist rather than an open palm. It's just, yeah, it just wasn't.
He's made an absolute hash of it completely. Man United, they came out in the second half and they put a lot of pressure on Spurs. I think the drinks break, I thought was going to hinder them, but actually they were able to find the same level after that mini drinks break. And the goal ended up coming from an error from Eric Dyer, who I was once again very surprised that he actually started at centre half, and it was Pogba who brought that challenge on. How good did Pogba look yesterday when he came on?
He looked pretty good, didn't he? I mean, it was Fred and McTominay didn't have the best of games, did they, when they were playing? So it would have been pretty hard for Pogba not to look good if he'd played anywhere near his level. But it looks like he could be. Looks like he'd be quite happy playing alongside Bruno, who that was the first time that I'd actually seen Bruno play live, as in watching as the game was happening, and he looks like he looks like a very good player. He's always trying to find those little pockets of space in between the defense and the opposition defense in midfield. He's always trying to do things, whether it's taking a shot at goal, trying to play players in, take a player on. He's always trying things, even if he's not having quite a good game himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a great trait to have, because that shows that he's never going to go hiding, and he's always going to want to try and do something to help the team win. Whereas other players who are of similar ilk, Ozil, kind of go hiding when it doesn't go their way. So I quite like that in Bruno, and he's a bit of a handsome guy as well. Actually,
he's a relatively handsome man. Hey, look, we're all prone to a handsome individual.
Yeah, and that goes into a theory that I once heard, that handsome guys in sport are they ever rarely bad?
That's a very true point. We'll have to have a look at that. We might do that for a top 5 at another point. Top 5 most handsome players ever to play the game, and are they any good? Fernandes took the penalty, scored it. Very, very lovely good penalty. And then Man United could have had another penalty as well, couldn't they? But it went to VAR. Yeah. You know, I'm not a big fan of VAR. But they got it right. They did get it right. The other game that happened yesterday was at Norwich at Carrow Road. Norwich 0, Southampton 3. Oh, sorry, before I go ahead of that, there are a couple of comments I must say. One in particular from a very good friend of ours, Adam Deering, about David De Gea. He's not a top 5 goalkeeper in the world, maybe not even top 10. I agree. He had 2 good seasons, I think, and that was it.
I think what happened is, because of those 2 good seasons, United fans obviously have got a bit of sentiment towards him, but sentiment doesn't work in top level football.
Exactly.
You can't be clinging on. You can't cling on.
No, it doesn't. Let's go back to Carrow Road. Carrow Road, where we saw Norwich 0, Southampton 3. An evergreen Nathan Redmond got himself on the scorelist towards the end of the game. Can you believe he's only 26 years old?
I wonder where I've read that or heard that from before.
Oh, God, I can't believe it. Norwich started off really well. In the first 5-10 minutes, it was barely a touch from a Southampton player, but they weren't able to capitalise from it.
Do you know what? I was thinking of you when that was going on, because Todd Cantwell was quite instrumental in all of that, and I was thinking, I bet Gav is loving this right now, because Gav loves Todd Cantwell.
Big fan of him. And Buendia, both of them looked really, really good yesterday. But it's the first game back. Maybe they burnt themselves out in the first few minutes, trying to get themselves in the faces of Southampton. Southampton, they're pretty much safe now anyway. I know not mathematically they're not, but they should be okay now.
I've got a statement to make, and it's kind of up to you to think whether you think it's a bit bold or not. But outside of the top 6 clubs, what is recognised as the top 6 club in the Premier League, I think Ralph Hassenhuttl is the best manager outside of those tops. That's not currently managing a top 6 club in the Premier League.
In terms of how they're performing in the league, etc. Because I
think that Southampton side isn't as good as what he's making them to be. He's actually making them better than what kind of talent he had available to him. I know they got stumped, was it 9-0 by Leicester? Okay, and he was manager for that, granted. But ever since that game, he has turned it around, and they are not in trouble at all. And they play some decent football. They've got a clear identity of how they want to play, and all the players are bought into it. And he's pretty much guided them to safety now. They're on 37 points in 13th place after that game.
Yeah, they should be fine after that.
Yeah, they're fine, and Norwich are done. Norwich are down.
Yeah, I think if Norwich were able to pick up a result yesterday, there might have been a slight chance that they'd be able to do something about it, because there was only 8 points between them and the team in 17th place. But that has not helped them whatsoever, and they've not got the easiest running. And the first goal came from Danny Ings. And I love Danny Ings. It was just after half time, and it was a sumptuous finish. And then only a couple of minutes later, Armstrong made it 2-0.
Get him on the plane for the Euros.
Get him on the plane for next year, 100%. Like, if he has
hang on. The Euros is not going on, is it?
If he has a fit year next season, there's no reason why he shouldn't be selected. Armstrong got the second, and that made it 2-0. Great toes indeed. And after that,
good finish as well. Actually, to be fair, outside of the area, it looks like it was that his wrong peg.
That's his wrong peg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't moan at that at all.
No, you can't. No.
And then Redmond, he wrapped up the scoring, and it was a much more comfortable looking situation in comparison to what it looked like at half time. So as far as I'm concerned, they're good. There's a comment here from Terry Howard. Terry, thank you very much for watching. Seems like Norwich never try and play out from the back. Should never try and play it from the back. I agree. Know your role. Understand what you're doing. Know where you are. Football is evolving. It's evolving every year. We're aware that teams want to play out from the back. They want to get a goalkeeper who is comfortable with the ball at his feet, etc. But know your role. You won't see Burnley playing out from the back because they know what the crack is. Man City can. They could get away with it. Liverpool can to a degree, but Liverpool, not even they really play out from the back very often, because they'll push Robertson and Trent as far up on the wings as possible, win the ball, get it through that industrial midfield and find the front three. So just understand your game, know what you're doing, and don't play out from the back if you're a team like Norwich.
Well, I think that's the way Daniel Farke had them playing in the Championship, right? And he's gone, well, that's the style of play I want to play. The problem is that the standard is an obvious statement of the year, Mark Lowen Award, but the Premier League is such a far higher standard than it is in the Championship. With the players that they have at their disposal, it's not going to work, because it's not the Championship that they're facing every week. So yes, it might win them. I mean, we were all applauding Norwich when they beat Man City at Carrow Road, So again, at the same time, they have to accept the criticism when it doesn't work every week, because they haven't got the players to consistently perform at that level every week. So yeah, it would have been nice to see Daniel Farke see if he could be if he wants to take the next step in management, to be able to recognise when something isn't working and be able to be pragmatic about it and try a different way. And then when you get better players in, you can then go back to the style that you want to play. But maybe this is sort of a learning experience for him.
I still can't get over that Man City game, because Norwich were actually missing 8 first-team players that day and still were able to find a result. It's crazy stuff. But talk about Man City, let's talk about them. And unfortunately, I have to talk about Arsenal involved in that as well. So this is a game from Wednesday. It's the second game back of the Project Restart. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0. I thought it was going to be a lot more before the game started, but Arsenal, not that they created any chance, they didn't actually have a shot on target throughout the whole game, but they looked relatively comfortable at the back and in midfield. They just couldn't get that final pass in the first half. But there was a couple of stoppages in the first half. There was injuries to Granit Xhaka and to Pablo Mari. And the one with Pablo Mari invited David Luiz onto the field of play, and that didn't go down too well in the end. The first goal coming just on the stroke of half time from Raheem Sterling. It's actually his first goal in 2020 in the Premier League, and it came from a David Luiz mistake.
So I've actually got a little bit of criticism from what I can see it for Mikel Arteta.
Excuse me.
I know, yeah.
So just before we go into that, if anyone is watching to up top for the first time today, we've been around for 2 years. Where the hell have you been? But since Arteta took over at Arsenal. I've been relatively sceptical, but willing to give him a chance. Alex has been, right, yeah, Arteta at the wheel, a bit like Rio Ferdinand with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation. So to hear a little bit of criticism coming from Alex's mouth, I'm ready. Go for it. Go for it.
I think he selected the wrong team, and it's all well and good being a good coach, a good leader. Yep, all the quotes that have come out of the club from the lockdown period have all been saying the same thing. The players are saying that they're fully behind him. Problem is, if you do not select the right team, you're going to fail. And I wanted to know why no Martinelli, why no Pepe, especially Pepe, because he'd been in great form in the few games prior to the lockdown coming about, and he would have posed a significant threat to that Man City team. He was unfortunate with the injuries to Xhaka and Mari, yep, granted, but David Luiz, I mean, could we have not gone a different direction? It was an accident waiting to happen. And how many minutes did he spend on the pitch? What, about 30?
24 minutes he spent on the pitch.
24 minutes on the pitch. He caused havoc in the Arsenal in our defence, conceded a penalty, got himself sent off. I still think that was harsh. But he was at fault for the other goal as well. And I think what another problem is that up top, you were saying about obviously the final ball not coming around. It didn't quite stick up top, did it? It was coming back a little bit too easy, and it was because the front four players weren't quite connecting, and I think that comes into not selecting the right team to begin with. So I hope for today's game, when we go to preview it, that he actually selects a better team than he did on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens there. So, David Luiz did give away a penalty a few minutes into the second half and was, in my opinion, rightfully sent off. He's made no attempt to to win the ball, and he's denied a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So, for that reason alone, according to law, that is a red card, and Kevin De Bruyne isn't going to miss from the spot. After that, it could have been any scoreline, and Phil Foden finally got himself on the pitch, which we thought he was probably going to start. But I think once Liverpool have definitely sewn up the Premier League, once they've actually got a C next to their name at the top, then you'll see Phil Foden starting more games.
I'll tell you what, for somebody, again, who doesn't play very many minutes, and at his age, you look at the numbers that he's been doing and producing, he's clearly got a lot of talent.
What does he need to do to start?
Well, I personally think with David Silva, because David Silva, this is his last year, isn't it, at Man City? He's leaving after this season, whenever it finishes. If he doesn't, I imagine that his contract has been extended to complete the season, right? I've got to imagine that they're going to say, right, Phil, you are then going to take that place of David Silva. Because if he doesn't, then he has to seriously think about leaving, because he is good enough to be starting a lot of Premier League games.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not going to be for City, then it needs to be for somebody else.
For me, he is a top top four starting player.
Oh yeah, he's a Champions League player. He's a future England international. He's a Champions League player. He has all the qualities. You just look at him, you watch him play, and you think, yeah, this boy's good. And I just hope the same thing doesn't happen to him that it happened to Wilshere, though he doesn't seem to have the same quite injury issues that plagued Wilshere. But it was attitude which really was the downfall.
I'll tell you where I would really like to see him. I would like to see him in the Bundesliga. I would like to see him at Leipzig. I think he would be able to control the midfield at a club like Leipzig, and the way how quick they play and how direct they are, I think he'd be brilliant for them. Whilst we talk about Bundesliga very quickly, there are a number of shows. We're going to put this up towards the end of the show as well, but we've got so much going on in this week on to Up Top. So tomorrow we've got two shows. We've got the Bundesliga review, the penultimate week, with myself and Flo Wolfram from Bayer Leverkusen. That's going to be live on Facebook at 11 a.m. At 1 p.m, we'll be reviewing all the games that have happened today, being Saturday, and previewing all of Sunday's games. And then on Monday at 7 p.m, we have the Premie League review part 2 of all of Sunday's games. Thursday, we are out and about twice again. So we've got the Premier League midweek review, game day 31, the 5 in midfield, which is our favourite top 5 list. That's going to be live on Facebook and live on YouTube on Saturday next week are the weekend previewed games. Right, so the other game that happened midweek was Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. 0-0. It's the first game back for both teams. Obviously, the first game back for many teams, but being the spotlight of the first game, it was quite a turgid game, do you think?
It wasn't the best, was it? I think you'll find the first few games are going to be like that, aren't they? Players trying to get back into a bit of sharpness, got match rhythm as well, and that also extends to the technology, it appears, as well.
Yes. So just before half-time, Sheffield United took the lead, or did they? I can't remember with the free kick in, actually.
No, neither can I.
No, do you know what? The actual move of the goal has been overshadowed by what actually happened. So the ball was carried into the back of the net. Conser, I think it was. No, it wasn't Conser. Number 39. Black Lives Matter.
Neuland, is it?
The number 39 who ran into Nyland.
Oh, the Villa player. Oh, yeah.
Black Lives Matter is his name was. That's what his name was. And he bumped into...
So he should be signed up. He's scoring for every team.
Yeah, exactly. First goal scorer. You're laughing. So, yeah, he's bundled into Nyland. And Nyland's actually gone into the net and the ball has fully crossed the whole of the line. But no goal was given as the watch didn't go off. Now, I've got a little bit of information in regards to what happened there. The assistant on the far touchline believed that it was a goal and already started heading towards the halfway line because I'm not quite sure if you know, as assistant referees, if the ball crosses the line, you don't flag or anything like that. You just start running in the direction of the halfway line to signal that the ball has gone in. He's looked and said, hold on a minute, that's not gone in. Or it has to have gone in, but he's doubted it because of the watch. Now, VAR haven't come in on this. And the reason why is because VAR are told to trust the technology of Hawkeye. In the VAR room, you've got 3 people. You've got Paul Tierney, who is the video assistant referee. You have someone who's assisting him. So now and a member of Hawkeye, who is completely nothing to do with the FA, just there to make sure that the technology is working correctly. Now, Paul Tierney's looked at that and not seen any signals come back. So as far as they're concerned, that's okay. The assistant referee, so the assistant who's assisting Paul Tierney.
Hang on, sorry to interrupt there. When they say no signals come back, would they mean what kind of signal
from the goal line technology?
Okay.
So the goal line technology watch has not gone off. So,
okay, yeah. So basically, this is from the live feed. So no replays have been shown to them.
No replays have been shown at this point. Now,
right. Okay.
What would normally happen in a VAR situation? So if it's like, referee needs to look at that, there's a number of screens, and then Paul Tierney, who is the main referee, will go back and have a look at what the situation is, whilst another video is consistently rolling. So it's a bit like if you're in the middle of the field of play and there's a mass confrontation, for argument's sake, you got the referee looking at what's going on and your 2 assistants that are like having a look to see what's happening on the outside. 5 minutes later, there's live feeds going back in of replays of the ball crossing the line, but the game's already gone ahead. You can't go back and correct a situation at that time. So it is just a massive faux pas from Hawkeye. There's nothing that could have been done. Over 9,000 games.
I was going to say, I think this is the first time where it hasn't worked, and I don't know why it hasn't worked. The joke went around that the guy was still on furlough, who was in charge of the Hawkeye, but yeah, it was a strange situation. And I don't know if anybody else saw the rumours. Apparently, was it Michael Oliver who was a referee, wasn't it? His watch was going off during half time, saying that it should have been a goal. But I don't know how strong those rumours or if there are any proof to those.
There's a lot of strength to that. That's all I'm saying. But before the game kicked off, there was 3 checks on it, and every game will have 3 checks. You have one when you first arrive at the ground, when you're not suited, when you're still suited and booted, just to check, put the ball across the line, goal, no goal on the watch, and then during the warm-up you check twice as well. So it was working prior to it. It's just a glitch, and it's such an unfortunate glitch. And it could have ramifications on Sheffield United, because if they miss out on the Champions League by 2 points, they'll look back to this moment. It will not be the first time they've been mugged over by situations.
I was going to say, we know we have a segment that says "What's our Everton?" It says we could always have it as "Why Sheffield United?"
Why Sheffield United? Indeed.
Yeah.
And also, I did actually question my guy on the inside about, can Sheffield United ask for a replay of this game? And the answer is no. And the reason why is because it's not incorrect in law what happened. It's a technology thing. It's nothing in the laws of the game that says this. If the referee, for instance, gave an incorrect restart or something, and something happened after the back of that, because the referee would be incorrect in law, then there's every right for it to be replayed. However, in the opinion of the referee, the ball didn't cross the line. And people were going out saying, well, why didn't the referee just give the goal anyway, or the assistant referee give the goal anyway? You're going to have a massive set of balls to give that situation and overturn the decision of technology. Can you imagine?
Especially as it had never failed up until this point.
No,
it hadn't failed once.
And also, could you imagine if the assistant referee or the referee had said, that is a goal, 1,000,000% it's a goal, and then technology shows that it wasn't a goal.
Yeah.
Then that's it. Your game, your life is over. So that's not going to happen, and there's not going to be any replay. Anyway, let's look forward to Saturday's games. Let's get the whole lot of fixtures up first so everyone can see, and then we'll break them down individually. So not long after our coverage, 12:30 kickoff, we got Watford versus Leicester, the Brendan Rodgers derby, I'll call that. And then at 3 o'clock on BT Sport, the first ever live 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. And it involves Brighton, who have not won a game since the turn of 2020 in the Premier League, against Arsenal, who lost their first game in the league of 2020. Then at 5:30, you've got West Ham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. That is also on Sky. That was on Sky, I believe. And then on BBC One, Saturday night, BBC One. It's better than bloody Dancing on Ice or whatever it's called. You've got Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. So why don't we go in order of when the games are? So that's it there. Watford versus Leicester, 12:30 kickoff. The Brendan Rodgers derby. Where do you see that one going?
Well, you would say Leicester, right? I know they had a. I think we were speaking when we were doing the Premier League show before that Leicester had been on a pretty poor run of form in the sort of second half of the season, hadn't they? They'd only won, was it 3-12 or something
at the time? Yeah.
And that kind of coincided with Jamie Vardy kind of stopping scoring goals. He'd been prolific in the first half of the season. But you've got to think that maybe this break's probably done Leicester a favour. There were some teams which it didn't do the favour for because they were in pretty good form. And there are some teams where they wanted to probably get back into a little bit of a break so they could recharge your batteries, go again. And possibly Leicester could benefit from that. So I would be looking at a Leicester win there.
Watford need a change of form. They need to find their Christmas form because they were dead, completely gone, and then they won 4 and 5.
But remember, they did just beat Liverpool just before the break as well. Remember that was only 1 or 2 games before the break. So Watford had certainly put themselves back into contention. But has this breakaway derailed any kind of momentum that they could have built up? And also get teams to sort of see what Nigel Pearson had been doing with Watford so that no longer a surprise, if that makes sense,
Yeah, very true. So I think it's going to be a lot tighter than you think. I think all the games are going to be a lot tighter than you think.
I think they're going to be a lot tighter. I think this might sound biased to Homer, but Arsenal are going to have a little bit more of an advantage because they've already played a game.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit further ahead of other teams. Now, I don't know about other teams if they've played any friendlies or not. I imagine they might have done. I don't know.
A few teams have.
A few teams have, or as I say, if some teams are just coming in cold. But Arsenal have got an advantage over the fact because they'd played a game less prior to the break. I know they lost, but they still had 90 minutes under their belt. So that is an advantage there. It all depends, obviously, on team selection. So I would favour Arsenal in that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if that ended up being a draw, to be honest with you.
Oh, what, the Arsenal-Brighton game?
Yeah.
So Arsenal-Brighton, that's going to be at 3 o'clock live on BT Sport. Brighton, they need wins. They've been dragged into a relegation scrap. And it's funny because at the end of the day, they were... beginning of the season, they started off with a new manager, and after a little bit of form, which wasn't the greatest set of form, to be honest, I think they went, 3 or 4 games unbeaten. They gave Graham Potter a 6-year deal, and since then they've been dragged right into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Graham Potter's a fairly decent manager. I don't know whether it's because, he's rested on his laurels, because it seems like almost Alan Pardew-esque when he was at Newcastle. Or it could be a reflection on the fact that Brighton probably don't have actually as good a players as we thought they did.
Well, I don't think they were ever in an area where they were able to consistently get a mid-table and try and push forwards. They're not strong enough. I do like the 2 centre halves in Duncan Duffy. I think their partnership is brilliant, to be honest. Yeah,
it's very solid. It's a very solid, and it's built for English football. They're both tall, both strong, good in the air.
One's left-footed, one's right-footed as well.
They're not bad on the floor. Yeah, they're not bad because we saw them live, didn't we? When we went to the we went to the reverse fixture, didn't we, last year?
Yeah.
And both players then played very well, didn't they, in that game? So
it's the rest of the squad. The rest of the squad needs a lot of work. They can't rely on just Mopai, because Mopai, when he started off quite well again this season, but then
this is his first season in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yes.
So having played in the lower leagues, even if he's quite a good player, because I think he was always one of the better players in the. I know you were quite.
Yeah, I did like him in the Championship.
You're quite a big fan of him.
Yeah,
you're quite a big fan of him. So it's interesting. Some players can make that step up, other players can't. And he's done all right in the Premier League, but again, to rely on him as your main goal scorer is tough, isn't it? Because he needs to be able to adapt to a higher standard, because you need to be more clinical at this level, because you're not going to get chances as much and as often as you would do in the Championship level.
Yeah, very true. Brighton will be buoyed by facing Arsenal as well, after they did beat Arsenal at the Emirates earlier on this season as well. So it'll be an opportunity for them to get a double over Arsenal. They also took 2 points off Arsenal last season as well. So they do quite enjoy playing against Arsenal. So it'd be very interesting to see how that one plays out.
Quite a lot of teams enjoy playing against Arsenal, mate.
That is very true. That is very true. Not that one. Where's the 5:30 game? Where is it? There we are. The 5:30 game. It's West Ham versus Wolves. West Ham, they're in a bit of trouble as well. That's at 5:30, kicking off on Sky Sports if you want to be watching that game as well. West Ham, they need points. They were desperate for the season to continue. No, I'm lying, sorry. They were desperate for the season to end, weren't they? Because if it was going on points per game or etc., they would have been in 17th place and they would be surviving. So for me, I want West Ham to go down now. I know we're impartial, but what do you think?
I can't see past Wolves for this one. They'd have got. Well, here's the other thing as well for Wolves. As with when UEFA have made the decision about the Europa League and the Champions League, that's not going to come into the facts now. But for these remaining Premier League games, so they can concentrate solely on the Premier League, can't they?
Yes.
And not have their squad potentially exposed to having to bit of rotation and I think we both can agree that Wolves' first 11 is actually a pretty strong 11.
It's one of the strongest in the Premier League.
It is one of the strongest in the Premier League. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wolves actually could maybe upset Man United. I don't know. Certainly get involved in that last spot for the Champions League. So I would place Wolves to be favourite here. My only concern about Wolves is, yes, Nuno is doing a good job for them. I still think he's a little bit negative, and that could come back to bite him in the bum, especially when they've got really good players, and we've spoken about this. Raul Jimenez and Diego Jota up front, who are difference makers for me.
And then
definitely.
Johnny and Traore out wide. Or you can even play Matt Doherty as well, who's done well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Traore does in his return, because he'd built up a little bit of momentum and form, hadn't he, prior to the break. And it'd be interesting to see if, now that there's film on him, again, how teams will be able to counteract his threat and whether he can then overcome that. So he's one player I'm actually intrigued to see play, see how he deals with things.
Well, to be fair, his training will literally just be sprinting. So I'm sure he would have been fine throughout the whole of lockdown. And then this evening's game, primetime BBC TV. So if you're looking to watch Casualty or Dancing on Ice or whatever on BBC, unlucky, because we've got Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace.
It's the first ever Premier League game shown live on BBC, I believe, as well, isn't it?
I reckon it might well be. I can't recall any other time when it's been on terrestrial TV, a Premier League game live.
No.
So yeah, brilliant stuff. 7:45 kickoff. Bournemouth versus Palace. Now, Bournemouth, I would say, have been one of the teams that would have benefited from the lockdown because
their injury list was quite horrific.
I was going to say it's longer than me, but I'm not very long, so longer than the really long man.
Well, I think we're gonna like it as well, because, as far as I'm aware, your boy David Brooks is back.
Brooks is back,
that is a big return for Bournemouth.
However, they will be without Ryan Fraser, who has rejected a new contract. He was asked to sign a contract until the end of the season for the remaining 9 games, and he said no. And Eddie Howe has come out and said, well, if you're not prepared to play the whole 9 games, you're not going to be selected in my squad for the next 2. So Ryan Fraser has played his final game for Bournemouth.
Well, he wouldn't be a bad little pickup for somebody, especially on a free. But from what I understand, he's looking to move to a big club, isn't he? He wants to play at a much higher level. And fair play to him. If he feels like he's good enough, that's his ambitions, then he's backing his own ability. But I feel like that's a bit dirty from him not helping Bournemouth complete the season.
Yeah, I think it's a bit naughty. However, there's no however to it, actually, thinking about it, because end of the day,
Bournemouth
he can still move.
He can still move.
It's just a short-term contract.
Bournemouth for the club that have given him the chance to showcase his ability. He should at least be able to go back and say to them and try and repay that back to them by helping them stay in the Premier League. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of what he's done there, to be honest with you.
Nor am I. Hey, look, let's have a look at the Premier League table just before the afternoon's game. So, as you can see, everyone knows Liverpool are top of the league and they're cruising. They're 22 points ahead of Man City. But everything's happening sort of like between third place. I say third place. I think they'll be fine. Leicester in with 53 points. Then you got Chelsea 48 points. Man United in 5th place after that point on 46. That could be a Champions League spot, as we all know. Sheffield United, they picked up a point. They're on 44. Wolves, a win for them today could propel them into Manchester United's position. And then at the bottom, so Norwich, that defeat has not helped them whatsoever. They're stuck down the bottom on 21 points. Aston Villa, that point has helped them out a little bit. That puts them on 26. They are a point from safety, although they have played a game more than Bournemouth, Watford and West Ham, who are all level on 27 points. So, it's all going down there at the bottom of the league. So yes, we all know Liverpool are going to win the title, but there is still a lot to play for in the Prem.
Yeah, and I think everyone can be assured, or certainly agree with this. They're just happy to have football back.
Exactly that. Hey, look, it's been myself, Gav Mack, and Alex Osborne. So tonight not tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the Premier League review on YouTube, and you'll be able to see links for our YouTube all over our page, and all the social media links will be going on the bottom of your screen right now. So that's our Facebook link. Is that to at Top Football for everything to make it life easier for everybody. So if you don't like Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube. If you don't like YouTube, you can watch us on Facebook. If you want to know what's going on, so check us out on Twitter or Instagram at Top Football. But for myself and Alex Osborne, thank you, and ta-ra.